All right, Yellowjackets, welcome back to the team huddle. We're going through season 2. We're on episode 4.
Old wounds.
Old fucking wounds.
They're all over the place this episode. They're all coming back to haunt you.
It was really confusing. I was trying to remember what the name of this episode was, and when I tried to Google it, it's like all these articles on recaps and stuff, they like come up with their own name title, and I'm like, wait, was this Hunger Games or Reunions? And then I like went to IMDb and it's like, okay, old wounds. Oh, old
Yep.
wounds. Okay.
Yeah, people just, I mean, they're having fun with talking about this show, so you gotta respect it. But yeah, everyone's got a little fun nickname. But I feel like Old Wounds is really the perfect name for this show. Like physically, emotional, like there's just all kinds of wounds coming back up.
Just call it emotional damage.
Yeah, I mean that could be the name of the show, honestly.
All right. So for if this is your first time listening to the team huddle, we are not a recap. We're just discussion, deep dives, theories. So there's a ton of recap videos. So if you want those, go there and then come back. You know?
Just watch the fucking episode. Who needs a recap anymore?
All right. Well, there was a bunch of stuff that happened in this episode. So should we start with Javi?
I think we have to because we've been talking about Javi since like the second to last episode, season 1. So the fact that he finally shows up in the end of this episode was kind of shocking. It's been a minute. I thought, all the Javi's alive theories, we're all just going wild with that shit. I thought it's got to be a red herring, but
Javi, the boy who lived.
The boy who lived. He's like fucking Harry Potter.
Scoot over, Harry Potter. I'm Javi.
I've got a theory about Javi and where he's been hiding this whole time because and it also ties into my new nickname for Javi. I'm calling him the cabin culprit. I think that is Javi. He is the reason for all the things that have been happening in the cabin. Let me lay it out for you, okay?
Okay, hit me.
So first, we all know the number one thing everyone's questioning is who the fuck shit in the bucket, right? We all know, okay, funny jokes. It's Coach Ben, but like obviously, like you said, someone would hear that guy hobbling around doing shit.
Yeah.
There's been multiple instances, including in this episode, about somebody stealing meat from the shed, which also happened earlier when Shauna was still playing with dead Jackie and talking to her, that she also mentioned that someone had been stealing. The lantern was missing in episode 1, as well as I was thinking, I know we all hate, is it Marie or Mari? I don't fucking know, but we all hate her.
Mari.
Okay. That's another reason why I hate her. Just be fucking Marie, bitch. Anyways, she's been complaining about the fucking dripping happening as she hears the dripping. No one else hears it. Here's my theory, okay? I'm thinking Javi might have been hiding in the cabin the entire time. Like under the floorboards or something. There's maybe some little secret fucking place. And here's my reasoning. So like the Akila, that chick, when she was helping Mari like look around for the drip noise, she found a little mouse in the cupboard and she's like, "Oh, you've been here the whole time? You've been hiding here the whole time?" So I'm wondering if it's foreshadowing. But also, I was just, and this is also very just something I just saw this movie, so maybe that's why, but I don't know if you've heard of the movie I See You on Netflix.
Sounds familiar.
It's like from a couple years ago, but it's been like resurfaced now and it just got added. And it has to do with like this family, and they think like they're either being haunted possibly in the house, shit's going missing or like moving, and they might think they're going insane. But it has to do with this term called frogging, which I had never heard of, but it's about people who live in houses while unbeknownst to the people who actually live there. And they like stay there secretly and like live in like weird little spaces in the house and like eat their food and shit while they're gone and like just fucking like lay up and live there.
Ah.
So I'm wondering, maybe there's some little space in that cabin we haven't found yet.
I love that.
Right?
That's a great theory because I feel like all I've heard is just everyone saying that there's a series of tunnels and all this stuff.
Or another camp of people are saying, or there's another group of people out there. I'm like, this is not Lost. There are no others. And if there are, it would be too close to Lost. I don't think they're going to do anything like that. Or with a hatch going underground and tunnels, right?
Yeah.
I think it's got to be something so simple.
Yeah.
Personally, he's only a kid.
Yeah, I love that, and I feel like, I felt like the stuff of Lottie going down the hatch and stuff in her vision quest that she had, I
Hmm.
felt like all of that was more so just playing a joke of people paralleling this to Lost, like,
Yeah.
I was like, "I just don't think they're gonna do that,"
They're not going to do
and
anything that Lost has already done. They might fuck with our expectations of what we're seeing because of our like knowledge of Lost and
yeah,
because like that show really started this whole mystery show trend, like
yeah,
looking for clues everywhere. And I just feel like, yeah, they're not doing the hatch thing. They're not doing another group of people. They're not doing tunnels underground with all this storage. Like, I think Javi has been living there. And then if people are saying, like, well, why wouldn't he just come talk to them? It's like, well, at Doom Coming, they all fucking tried to kill Travis. They were insane. And then just a couple episodes ago, he probably saw them all fucking chowing down on Jackie. So
yeah.
if I'm Javi, I'm going, you know what? Maybe I will stay hidden. I don't know that these girls are really going to protect me if I come back. I'd be sketched out. So I think he's the cabin culprit. That's my new theory. We'll see if I'm right. But like, that's where I'm thinking he's been.
Kudos to you, I applaud that.
Thank you.
That's a great theory.
I had to put it together, but once they saw that cute little mouse and she's like, "Oh, have you been hiding here?" I'm like, "Oh, this show likes to foreshadow." Just
Yeah,
saying. Um, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm curious because obviously haven't got anything from Javi. He didn't say shit when he showed back up at the end. So
yeah.
I'm curious what I'm hoping God we're gonna get an answer next episode. I don't know. He seems a little bit fucked up too. So who knows if he's even speaking at this point.
Yeah. Well, I did see that the next episode is titled Two Truths and a Lie. So
Interesting.
color me intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, every episode this season, I'm already like, this is why I'm like rewatching Lost, is because I'm just like, I need more. Every episode, I'm like, what? I can't wait a week. What are you talking about? So I think this
uh,
week too, I just went down a downward spiral of theories and ideas.
so I am really, really interested in the whole situation between past Van and Ty leading her to all the trees and stuff.
Hmm.
I have kind of a weird theory, but I wanted to hear if you've read anything or have any ideas of what's going on there.
I don't know. Honestly, the one thing I was like looking into was like if you have like sleepwalking, how often is that associated with like a disassociative state or like a
Hmm.
fugue state, which is basically what Ty is doing. And I've found that it is like kind of correlated, but I feel like with Ty, it's more just that she just refuses to deal with anything that she has going on that's fucked up inside of her dark
Hmm.
side. Whereas like the others seem to kind of embrace it as adults. Maybe they held back for a while, but like Shauna definitely has been embracing her dark side. Misty, we all know, has been embracing it for a long time. And they both seem a lot healthier, obviously, than Ty in the future or in the current timeline. I just feel like there's got to be something with like, I don't know what's going to break her and Van up in the past, but I'm really curious to find out because from what it seems like maybe Van brings her over to the spiritual side. And that's why like they don't talk anymore is because Ty like wants to move on past that and forget all about it. And that's probably
Hmm.
why that shit's happening again is because she just shuts it out, this other side of her. So it's just coming out more and more.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I got. I'm curious to hear what your theories are.
So my theory, it's it's kind of out there. It could very
Perfect
easily
for the show.
it could very easily be wrong with just one little bit of information that we learn. I mean, first off, I think part of the issue between Ty and Van is I think Van cheats on Ty with other Ty. I think
Interesting.
other Ty is going to get freaky with Van.
I mean, she kinda seems like a better fit. I mean, she's creepy as hell, let's be real. She's
Yeah.
eating dirt. She's fucking following a guy with no eyes, I don't like that. But she does seem to be a bit more she's more open to the spirituality. That's the thing is, like, the regular Ty, I guess, like, normal daytime Ty, she just
Mhm.
seems to shut down Van at every point and seems
Yep.
extremely controlling. So I could totally see that happening because the other Van or sorry, the other Ty seems to be a lot more accepting and fit better with Van. I'd be
Yeah.
interested if that happens. How weird would that be if you cheated with your other split personality? Does it count as cheating? I don't know.
I don't know. But all right, so here's my theory. And a lot of this revolves around we don't know anything about Ty's parents.
Yeah.
And the only thing we know is the woman in the flashback of season 1 that sees the eyeless man, is that
Mhm.
her mother or her
Her
grandmother?
grandma.
Okay. So the theory essentially is that Ty as we know her is actually the other Ty. The dark Ty is actually the real Ty, and
Hmm.
Ty has been to this place before. Like she was in a plane crash or something with her parents, lived in this place. That's why she knows where all the trees are.
Interesting.
And then the trauma of all of that manifested new Ty or the Ty that we know
Hmm.
to cope with what happened. And now that original person is kind of coming out and it's back in its original place. It knows where things are. It knows what's going on. That's the only way I can like explain in a non supernatural way that Ty knows what's going on. And then also, I think Dark Ty is maybe the reason for the plane crash in to begin with.
Really?
Because I went back and I watched the first episode,
Mhm.
and it shows in the plane crash sequence at the end, it shows everyone's faces during the crash. Everyone's freaking out. Does not show Ty.
Mm. Like, you think she's, like, sitting there smiling like a fucking evil villain in the background?
Yeah, or something. I don't know, but like,
Aha! All according to plan. That's
but I'm
interesting.
so so the way that it's this whole thing is easily explained is that we see something about Ty. Like we got that one flashback when she was like a baby,
Mhm.
but she wouldn't have been born on in this place. She would have been like an infant or something.
Yeah.
I,
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, like, that it would have to be something weird like that in order to kind of explain the supernatural shit away.
Hmm.
But, like, that was funny this episode when the girls were kinda debating about the things that happen. I'm like, "They sound like all of us every week." Like,
Yeah,
"Well, how do you explain the bear?" It's like, "Well, that could have been sick." It's like, "Yeah, but the birds then, okay?" And you're
yeah,
like, "Yeah," but she also now they're gonna have even more fuel for the fire because, oh, she said Javi was gonna come back and he's alive, and now he is. So, I think
um,
I think it's interesting. It could be. I'm still not sure about the supernatural stuff, so I like this as another option. Are they really just fucking crazy, all of them?
yeah.
Are they all insane?
The other thing that I picked up from watching the first episode again is that Lottie's dad paid for the plane,
Yeah.
so he's up to something.
He's rich as hell is what
Yeah,
he is, but yeah. Yeah, and he's also the one who's, like, doesn't believe in any of the spiritual stuff that she does. That's interesting, and I don't know, maybe I guess, like, my theories are now, I think, going towards more of the mystical shit. I think the more and more that I'm watching the show, I'm, like, looking into, like, what could this possibly mean in a spiritual way?
yeah,
Granted, like, I don't know. I guess I think the show is leaning a bit more that way, but it's still up in the air. So I'm really curious. It could all just be a red herring, but I think I'm on the more of the supernatural side at the moment.
okay.
Are you
The
like still trying to like be
I'm
like I think it could be like something that you could rationalize away.
Yeah, I think the show is trying to get us to the show's trying to make us do the Lottie or Ty argument, like supernatural or not. And
I mean, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how it's not supernatural.
'Cause it is seeming like it's going that way, but yeah, it's very similar to Lost in that way, where you're getting, like, the man of faith versus man of science with Locke
Mhm.
versus Jack,
Yeah.
and Ty is very much like Jack. Like, when I think Locke says something to him of like, well, if you can lie to them like half as well as you lie to yourself, I think it'll be fine. And it's like, literally, that is exactly what Ty does. She just fucking lies to herself about everything, scoots it under the rug, just like Jack. So I'm wondering if, like, I mean, maybe she'll be proven right by the end, but I don't know. The more I see of her other personality, the more I think this thing's got to be a fucking spirit or something. Like it. How does she know where all those trees are if it's not the thing that you pointed out could be it? But it seems like the fact that they all when Van's like
Yeah.
they're the symbol. It's a giant fucking symbol. It's like what the fuck? How is that happening?
This was like the only thing I could think of to explain that, and I'm like, otherwise, there's time travel, or something.
Yeah, I don't know if they can. I can't handle more time travel. That just feels like a total like, oh, we're just gonna use that because we can't explain shit anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like that. I thought it was. I think it's interesting too that like this episode we got to see. I feel like this was a big change for me was seeing that Lottie is an adult is like none of the visions are real. None of
Yeah.
my things were real. It was all just me being delusional and asking for more medication. So I was like, that's interesting because I was under the impression from the first few episodes that like she still was believing she was some sort of like prophet or spiritual queen, antler queen,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And maybe she secretly does or she has some shit. But I thought that was interesting because it seems like also in the past, this episode, the other girls are the ones saying, Lottie can do it. She doesn't need a weapon. She can find food. It's like, calm down. She's not signing up for this. She's not saying, yes, I'll be the one that does the spiritual whatever. It's kind of like a reluctant thing that they showed, which was interesting. I think it added a little extra depth to her character.
Well, I felt like that part she was saying that because she's still medicated, but and I think she keeps wanting stronger and stronger meds because when she's not on her meds, she fully believes in this. Like, and
Something bad happened clearly back then because of her beliefs, I
well,
think.
and then like at the end of that part, like she goes to the stump as an adult and cuts her hand again. So like she is starting to believe it again. Like she needs something to fight it. And
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too, because like, so she cuts her hand in the past, right? And then
yeah.
she cuts her hand as an adult. But when she does that in the past, it's like they don't find food, but Javi shows up. And then when she does it in the future, or sorry, in the current timeline, when adult Lottie does that again at the stump and she says, please let this be enough.
Mhm.
I was like, that's interesting. I'm starting to notice just after rewatching some stuff, it seems like the smaller the sacrifice of blood, like the smaller amount of blood, a small gift is given. So
Yeah.
it feels like they're building up to a large sacrifice, a large amount of blood in
Ben.
order to be fully rewarded. I mean, definitely Ben's on the table.
Yeah.
Again, we get another flashback about how pathetic it is that he is not going to live his life and he never did. And it's just very depressing anytime we get anything from Ben's point of view now.
Yeah, Ben, it's like, can we just put him out of his misery?
I mean, he's literally like, can we just fucking old Yeller that guy and take him out in the back and shoot him? Because, like, this is just really cruel. And
I
I
was
kind of thought Mari was going to fucking attack him at one point. Just a
I
little
was
worried.
I was gonna ask you what so when she goes up to the stump and cuts her hand, was was that the first time she saw the stump, or was the part in the finale of season 1 at with the bear heart?
It's the
Was
same
that
stump.
but which one came first? For some reason, I felt like she had just found the stump, like this was the first time she had seen the
Oh.
stump.
No, I think it's the same one that, like,
Okay.
she had already sacrificed the bear to, because there wasn't snow when they did that, I don't think, or maybe there was, but, like, I feel like now they've gotten pat because 'cause they're still eating the bear at this
Okay.
point. So, yeah, I think it's like that, and then in the current timeline, she must have, like, either fucking I was like, "Are they near that cabin? Like, are they on that property or out in the fucking Canadian wilderness? Because it looks like the same stump, but I think it's just they made another stump,
Yeah, no,
or they made it to look like it.
yeah, because the retreat or whatever, that's, like, in Pennsylvania or something.
Yeah, but I'm like, "Did they go get the stump and fucking bring it here?" I don't know.
She
She's
might
got a lot of
she
money.
might sh I heard a thing of they think that she modeled the retreat based off of the map of the
Mhm.
symbol. So,
Interesting.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that goes throughout the season. I'm kind of curious because at least for me, so this is something that I don't know if you've heard this, but the actress who plays adult Ty, she said by the end of this season that the audience, we will hate all of the adult characters by the end of the season. And I'm
Oh.
so curious as to what would make us turn on them because they've done some shit and we're all like, it's fine. It's totally cool. I don't care. You know, they're all like, they're traumatized. They've been through some shit. I was thinking, what's the ultimate thing they could do to make us hate them? And I'll tell you. First off, I kind of feel like they're all going to, like, when all of the adult Yellowjackets meet up again, it's going to be at Lottie's compound, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they might restart the cult. I'm wondering if maybe they all find out about Jeff being the real blackmailer and they sacrifice him. That would
Ooh,
make people really not sure how to feel about him because Jeff's just a fan favorite. We love that
yeah.
guy.
Oh, that would be yeah, that would be bad.
That would be
And
the thing.
they've kept saying throughout the entire show, but especially in this season, like, hinting at they did terrible things back then.
Yeah.
And so far we haven't seen anything terrible.
I mean, yeah, they
We've
haven't,
seen
like,
some
killed
bad
someone
things. Yeah.
pure to eat them or, like, they haven't had that, like, hunter mentality where they all hunt after one girl or, you know, sacrifice to the gods or whatever. So I do kind of feel like it's gotta be something like that. Maybe they'll all sacrifice Steve, the poor dog. I'm still worried about that guy. We haven't seen him. Who the fuck is feeding him? You know? Ty just kind of fucking left. But I'm curious if that I mean, I kind of feel like obviously they could obviously just as easily sacrifice Walter if he's on to Misty, but I don't feel like we would all hate them for that. It's
Yeah.
gotta be somebody we love, which is fucking Jeff. And my other reasoning for them finding this out is because in the previous episode, when Walter and Misty interviewed Randy, pretended to be FBI, he almost fucking spilled the fact about, he was like, oh, is this about Jeff? And like spilled the fact that like they were the blackmailers. So I'm wondering if that was like a little hint that like
Oh,
they're going to find this out by the end of the season and it's not going to be good.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I love every second of the Misty Walter
Me too.
rom-com.
Oh,
Like,
so
there
much sexual tension.
I would watch a whole movie, a whole rom-com of them.
I'm
They're
loving
they're
them, like,
so
so
funny.
when they're at the restaurant, they're like, "Oh, yeah, they're at the cult people, the purple people. They're at the farmer's market on Tuesdays." And they're like, "Today's Tuesday." And everyone's just like, "That luck. Wow, look at us. Good for us." Like, I was just so into it. And then that whole, like, nighttime routine when they're,
Yeah.
like, doing their bedtime stuff, it's just like, God fucking shit. These people are perfect for each other. I want them to get together and live happily ever after, but the more that I see them together and how perfect they are, I just get worried.
Oh,
I get so worried.
I laughed so hard when Elijah Wood came up with the whole face mask.
That was like, okay, that's Hannibal Lecter, but it was just a perfect, like, they were just tied to each other in such perfect ways. He's literally too perfect for Misty, and I'm just worried. I'm just worried for her, but like, I want them to be together. I love them, you know?
Yeah, and my other favorite part, to kind of keep on the train of every episode, Shauna does something crazy and kind of hot, you know.
Always hot. She's sexy as hell when she's being that crazy, talking about peeling off people's skin. I love it.
I have a total fear boner for Shauna.
Yeah,
It's
she's
it's
that's the
it's
definition of fear boner right there.
but like when she took Callie out, I was like, is she going to murder
Literally, that
her
was my first
daughter?
thought. She's like, "There's no self-service," and I was like, "Okay, I'm kind of here for this, though." And she's just like, "Oh, I guess there's not. Let's get out of the car." I'm like, "Oh my god." I also just was dying at any of Shauna's reactions to things, like when she's like, "So you're saying that this is all because of Dad?" And she's like, "No. I guess, yeah." Just
when
the way that she responded to everything was so adorable.
Yeah, when she was recapping like all the events of season one, she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, your dad was the
Yeah,
blackmailer.
sorry, that was a lie. I'm sorry, I can't keep track. There's too many lies.
It reminded me of Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once when she's trying to explain the multiverse
She's
to
like,
her dad.
"Raccoonie." Like,
Yeah.
"There's raccoons controlling you." It's like, "What?"
She's like, "Oh, can we just have Shauna recap every
I
episode?"
know.
Like,
Yeah. So actually, this is funny. Just since we're talking about the adults, I had to do some like research this week because one of the lines that Misty and Walter have when they're in the car is he's like, "I don't care about you being a yellow jacket." Like that was like 30 years ago. And then Misty's like, actually, it's only been 25. It's 25 years. And they've mentioned that in season one where it was like a big deal about 25.
they
So I was
mentioned it
like,
several times this season.
this season, last season, like it's come up a lot. So I was like, finally, like, I don't know why I haven't done this yet, but like, I'm going to look up what the fuck number 25 means because it's weird that it's not just one person, one of the Yellow Jackets that has a bunch of shit going down at 25 years later. It's all of them. So like, it could be if there's a spiritual, like, demon creature, whatever, that like this is like Pennywise and he just fucking sleeps for 27 years or 25 and then wakes up. Because, like, it could have been 25 years before that that the cabin guy showed up with his plane and fucking died or did whatever there, right? I don't
Yep.
know. I'm not sure if we'll get the whole history. But the number 25 is apparently super special in numerology. It's considered to be an angel number, which means it has great power and potential to lead into a holy year, which is
Mm.
interesting. It's also associated with the planet Mars, which is the planet of war and aggression, which I think is a similar thing to where we're thinking of like, the warring factions, the warring tribes that they're going to be split into. I don't know if that'll come to fruition in the adult timeline as well.
Shout out Elon Musk.
Yeah. And then also the number 25 is like the number of miracles, hope, and love, but it can also be like a negative, unlucky number because it can represent chaos and destruction. But basically, it means like a change. Something is happening. Something important is like a transition to something, or it's like a religious kind of thing. So I'm curious if that will be part of it. Like, are they all going to be back in the cult 25 years
Mm.
later? Like, or does this thing demand sacrifices every 25 years? Or maybe did they reawaken it because they, killed their dog or killed Adam, spilled blood kind of a thing?
Mm.
So I'm curious. It could be a lot of those things. I just thought it was interesting that it has to do with like religious kind of things or a holy year, which seems like very on brand for Yellow
Hmm.
Jackets. So I'm curious to see if that'll be anything later on. I'm not sure exactly how it all would work, but it does make me feel a little bit more like there's something supernatural going on if there's something about 25 years later.
Hmm. Well, we'll have to stay on top of that. I
Yeah,
think
I'll check in week to week.
I think next week we're gonna have a lot to talk about. I mean, a title of two truths and a lie that just says like
Everything.
we're gonna throw a lot of stuff at you, and you guys figure out which one's what.
We're going to be investigating a lot of things. We're going to be putting our citizen detective hats on and we're going to be trying to figure out what the truths and what the lie are. It was also interesting, like this episode, when Lottie was having one of her visions and it was she was reading like the positive affirmations or whatever that the people in the
Hmm.
cult wrote down. And she saw the Queen of Hearts card with the eyes crossed out.
Yeah.
And Misty mentioned, and a lot of people have theorized that that's going to be part of their thing of like how they determine who Pit Girl is or who the one that they hunt is, whoever draws the Queen of Hearts card.
Hmm.
Which the Queen of Hearts is like something that's, I mean, it's a tarot card as well, but it means like love, fertility, creativity, but it can also be negative, and suggest that you might be lost or confused and you're not seeing the whole picture, which I thought was
Mm.
fascinating because it could be that these people are just lost in the woods and confused and have no idea what's happening and they're using the supernatural thing to give meaning to something, but it's maybe not the entire picture of what's happening.
Yeah. Interesting.
Or maybe they give the Queen of Hearts to whoever doesn't get it, isn't with the program, and they're like, "Get the fuck out, bitch! You're gonna be hunted." It's got to be something like that. The Queen of Hearts, because like the heart necklace that we see on Pit Girl,
Yep.
Jackie's necklace, it feels like that's all tied together somehow,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm wondering.
That's gonna be a good reveal if that's what it is.
Yeah,
But
I think they've mentioned drawing cards before. It's been in like the I think the opening credits a bit. It's just, which speaking of the opening credits, I think we got to shout out Alanis Morissette did the credit song this week.
Oh, nice.
Did you notice that it was different? Or did you
No.
just skip the intro like a fucking dick?
I might have skipped it.
Yeah. Okay. Go back and listen to it because I was like, whoa, this is different. What the fuck? And then I looked it up. I'm like, Alanis Morissette? Genius. Fucking genius.
All right. Well, next week I won't skip it.
Don't skip it. It could be different every week. That's these kind of shows, you got to watch everything. The end credits, there could be a clue anywhere.
Okay. Whatever you say. As you're, I called you our team captain before, and then we decided that
I decided I don't want to be the team captain because of what happened to Jackie. I would like to be the citizen detective,
There
if
we
that
go.
is all right with you.
Okay.
Misty seems to at least have her shit together. She's still alive in the adult timeline, so I'm liking that better for myself.
Agent African Gray.
Agent African Gray, and I'll be back next week with some more insane theories.
All right. Well, we will see all of you next week on the Yellowjackets Team Huddle.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.